There is an oil older than the automobile that still outperforms synthetic oils that cost $15 a quart in specific conditions. Modern marketing tells us newer always means better, but lubrication science tells a different story. Major oil companies quietly ignore a product that cannot be patented, branded, or sold on repeat cycles. This countdown reveals what the oil industry does not want everyday drivers to understand. In the 10th place, a single molecule rewrites the rules of engine oil. Ricinoleic acid, the backbone of castor oil, delivers a level of metal adhesion and film strength that synthetic brands can't replicate without chemical tricks. In 1909, Castrol built its entire reputation on this ancient oil, blending it for the first wave of high-speed machines. By World War I, castor oil was the lifeblood of rotary aircraft engines, chosen not for nostalgia, but because nothing else survived the heat and speed. Before Mobil 1, before the age of marketing, engineers trusted castor oil to keep engines alive when failure meant falling from the sky. In the 10th place, castor oil's industrial pedigree stretches back before the automobile was even a concept. By the 1880s, U.S. patents like patent number 382,124 described castor-based lubricants for textile machinery, citing their ability to survive heat that would break down animal fat or mineral oil. Engineering handbooks of the late 19th century recommended castor oil for steam engine bearings running above 200 degrees Celsius, a threshold that would challenge many modern synthetics. When Charles Wakefield launched Castrol in 1909, the brand's very name fused castor oil and oil, signaling a new era of high-performance lubrication. Early Castrol blends were marketed for the first generation of high-speed engines, commanding a premium. Aviation-grade castor oil sold for about $2 a quart in 1918, a price that reflected both scarcity and technical superiority. This legacy set the stage for castor oil's later dominance in aviation and motorsport, establishing its reputation long before synthetic oils entered the scene. Number 9. The battle against friction began long before the age of engines. Archaeological digs reveal Bronze Age wheel hubs coated in animal fat, a primitive answer to the grinding of wood on wood. Across the Arctic, sledges glided on runners greased with plant oils, their makers learning by trial that certain seeds and nuts left a slick, heat-resistant film. By the 18th century, the rise of watermills and textile factories forced a shift. Millwrights abandoned animal grease for vegetable oils, logging the change in ledgers as bearings ran cooler and machinery lasted longer. These early experiments with botanical lubricants set the stage for everything to come. The quest to tame friction, to keep wood, bronze, and iron moving without burning up, is a story measured in millennia. Castor oil's later fame as an industrial lubricant is only the latest chapter in humanity's relentless effort to turn nature's chemistry into mechanical advantage. 8th place, the real secret to castor oil's legendary performance lies at the molecular level. Ricinoleic acid, the dominant component in castor oil, stands apart from every other common lubricant molecule. Its structure, called 12-hydroxy-9-cis-octadecanoic acid, features an unusual secondary hydroxyl group on the 12th carbon. This single hydroxyl group, buried in an 18-carbon chain, transforms an ordinary fatty acid into a chemical outlier. Roughly 85 to 90% of castor oil's triglycerides are ricinoleate, making it the most hydroxyl-rich natural oil in widespread use. The impact is not subtle. That secondary hydroxyl group creates a dipole moment of about 1.5 dB, giving castor oil a mild but significant polarity. On polished steel, castor oil spreads out with a contact angle of just 35 degrees, less than half that of typical vegetable oils without the hydroxyl, which beat up at 70 to 80 degrees. This means castor oil wets and adheres to metal with a tenacity that mineral and synthetic oils can only approach through aggressive additive chemistry. FTIR spectroscopy confirms the presence of the hydroxyl band at 3,400 per centimeter on iron oxide surfaces, direct evidence that ricinoleic acid physically bonds to the metal. X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy picks up the O1s peak, further confirming chemisorption. The engineering result is a boundary film that resists being stripped away under high pressure and high temperature. Hydrogen bonding within the oil layer adds cohesion, making the film both durable and resistant to rupture. Industrial surface studies consistently show that ricinoleic-rich triglycerides form a more stable, more adherent layer than any non-hydroxylated oil, natural or synthetic. This is the molecular foundation behind castor oil's reputation for surviving heat and load where others fail. It is not folklore, it is chemistry, measured and confirmed by modern instrumentation. But this same chemistry brings limitations. The very polarity that anchors castor oil to metal also makes it more prone to hydrolysis and oxidation over long service intervals, a key reason why modern synthetics, engineered for stability and low maintenance, dominate today's mass-market engines. Still, when the challenge is pure heat and pressure, and the only thing that matters is holding a film on bare metal, ricinoleic acid's molecular design delivers an edge that no additive package can fully replicate. The science is clear. In the world of boundary lubrication, castor oil's ancient molecule still holds a card that modern formulas have to play catch up to match. Number 7. The laboratory heat tests tell a story that upends decades of oil marketing. When subjected to rapid temperature ramps, castor oil refuses to break down on schedule. Differential scanning calorimetry reveals that its oxidation onset lags behind leading synthetics by nearly 30 degrees Celsius, an eternity in the world of engine failure. In 10-minute high heat runs, castor oil forms a cross-linked polyricinoleate film that clings to metal even as the surface spikes past 450 degrees. Thermogravimetric analysis confirms the mass loss curve stays flat long after conventional oils begin to vaporize. Thermal imaging adds a visual punch. A castor oil lubricated bearing shows a slower, more controlled hotspot spread, while a synthetic competitor allows rapid heat bloom and film retreat. The secret is in situ polymerization. Ricinoleic acid molecules link together under stress, building a glassy, protective layer right where the metal needs it most. This is not the slow, steady protection of long-drain synthetics. It is a last-stand defense, perfect for short, brutal sprints where catastrophic heat would strip away lesser films. But the edge is situational. When the test shifts to long, low load cycles, synthetics regain their advantage, outlasting castor oil by orders of magnitude. The real message is not nostalgia for the past, but a challenge to the idea that newer always means better. In the crucible of extreme heat, castor oil breaks the rules, proving that a plant-based molecule can outlast a billion-dollar synthetic, if only for a few critical minutes. Number 6. The hard numbers leave no room for nostalgia or marketing spin. In the lab, castor oil's boundary film strength is not a rumor, it is measured, photographed, and quantified. High-frequency reciprocating rig tests, the gold standard for evaluating friction under extreme pressure, reveal a steady-state coefficient of friction around 0.06 for pure castor oil. That is less than half the value typically posted by mineral oils, which hover near 0.14 under the same conditions. The difference is not academic. When steel-on-steel contact is pushed to failure in the ASTM D41724 ball wear test, castor oil leaves a scar just 0.26 millimeters wide. That is 45% smaller than the 0.47 millimeter trench gouged by a leading mineral oil competitor. Scanning electron microscopy provides the final proof. After a 100-kilometer wear run, the metal surface lubricated by castor oil is covered in a continuous amorphous film about 250 nanometers thick. Elemental mapping by EDX shows a cohesive, oxygen-rich polymer layer with a measured cohesive stress of roughly 1.2 megapascals, enough to resist rupture even as load and temperature climb. This is not the work of modern additive chemistry. It is the natural outcome of the molecular design of ricinoleic acid, a polar hydroxyl group anchoring the oil to metal, hydrogen bonds weaving the film together, and in situ, polymerization locking everything in place under heat and pressure. The message is clear. When the challenge is pure mechanical abuse, short, high load, high heat events, castor oil builds a boundary film that synthetics can only match with a cocktail of engineered additives. But these numbers also set up the next chapter. The same chemistry that delivers unbeatable film strength brings trade-offs that cannot be ignored. As the countdown continues, The story pivots from mechanical dominance to the hard limits that shaped castor oil's fate in the age of convenience and standardization. Number 5. The turning point was not marketing spin or a corporate plot. It was chemistry and engineering reality. For all its brilliance in short, brutal conditions, castor oil revealed liabilities that no amount of nostalgia could hide. Wartime maintenance logs tell the story. After just 40 hours of flight, engines needed a complete oil change as thick, carbon-rich deposits choked exhaust ports and fouled spark plugs. The same molecular polarity that anchored castor oil's film to steel also accelerated hydrolysis, breaking down into free acids that attacked copper and bronze bearings. Technicians recorded visible corrosion on alloy components, especially in humid or water-contaminated environments. When titanium alloys entered the scene, castor oil's acidic breakdown posed an even greater threat, etching surfaces and shortening component life. Emissions became another stumbling block. Castor oil's natural tendency to smoke under high-temperature combustion clashed with tightening post-war air quality standards. These were not minor inconveniences, but fundamental barriers to reliability, cleanliness, and compatibility with evolving engine materials. The technical verdict was clear. For mass-market cars demanding long oil change intervals, low emissions, and resistance to corrosion, castor oil's strengths were outweighed by its vulnerabilities and by the industry's need for reliability. The industry did not abandon castor oil out of ignorance, but out of necessity, setting the stage for the economic and branding forces that followed. Number 4. The billion-dollar branding machine changed the very DNA of the oil industry. When synthetic lubricants hit the market, they brought something castor oil could never offer: patent protection. Polyalpha olefin, PAO, became the backbone of a new wave of base stocks, and each tweak and additive blend was locked behind layers of intellectual property. This was not just chemistry, it was strategy. With a patent in hand, oil giants could guarantee exclusivity, launch product tiers, and push long-drain marketing that promised 10,000 to 15,000-mile intervals. The global synthetic lubricant market now tops $70 billion, driven by brands that build loyalty around proprietary formulas and dealer service cycles. Castor oil, by contrast, is a commodity. Its price is set by harvests and global trade, not by branding or exclusivity. It cannot be patented, and it cannot be locked up in a bottle with a trademarked additive package. That reality undercuts its value in a world where repeat sales and margin matter more than raw performance in a niche. The shift was not just technical, it was economic. Modern synthetics fit perfectly into a system designed for convenience, standardization, and profit, leaving castor oil to survive only in specialist corners where branding takes a backseat to pure, unfiltered performance. Coming to the top 3, the story of castor oil refuses to end in the past. In the world of racing sprints and vintage aviation, castor oil survives, not as nostalgia, but as a technical requirement. Certain racing classes still stipulate a 5 to 10% castor oil blend in their rulebooks, citing its unmatched film strength at redline. Mechanics working on two-stroke kart engines and classic Grand Prix bikes talk about an instant boundary film at 10,000 revolutions per minute, a critical edge when a single dry spot means catastrophic failure. In the hangars of aircraft restorers, every rebuild of a Pratt & Whitney R2800 radial engine quietly includes a 5% dose of castor oil, preserving the original wear patterns that modern synthetics cannot quite replicate. Interviews with veteran mechanics echo the same refrain: nothing else clings to hot metal with such tenacity during short bursts of extreme load. While mass-market oils dominate the shelves, in these specialist corners, castor oil's ancient chemistry remains a living, breathing part of the engineering toolkit. Its continued use is not a quirk of tradition, but living proof that in the crucible of heat and speed, some old rules still apply. Number 2, the economics behind what you buy are as engineered as the oil itself. Automakers set the rules of the game. Original equipment manufacturer specifications and warranty requirements force consumers towards certified oils, which overwhelmingly means premium synthetics. The fine print in a new car warranty makes it clear: use an unapproved lubricant and risk voiding coverage on a 5-figure engine. That is no idle threat. Dealership service departments are built around these standards, and their business model depends on routine, high-margin maintenance. retailers mark up synthetic oils by 25 to 40%, turning each bottle into a profit center. The promise of 10,000-mile drain intervals is not just a convenience, it is a sales strategy, locking buyers into long cycles that fit the dealer's schedule and the manufacturer's warranty calculus. Castor oil, for all its brilliance in short, brutal conditions, cannot compete here. Its short drain intervals and sensitivity to oxidation make it impractical for the kind of low-maintenance, long-interval service that modern driving demands. The purchasing landscape is shaped less by raw chemistry and more by a system where risk, warranty, and retail incentives steer every decision. For most drivers, the safest and only choice is the oil that keeps the warranty intact, not the one that wins in a laboratory stress test. And finally, the real lesson is not that newer always means better, but that engineering is about matching the right tool to the right job. The chemistry that gives castor oil its edge, polarity, film strength, and metal adhesion remains unbeatable in short, high-heat, high-load situations where a few minutes of survival can mean everything. That is why, in the world of racing sprints or vintage aviation, castor oil still earns its keep, delivering boundary protection that even the most advanced synthetics struggle to match without a cocktail of additives. Yet, the very same molecular quirks that make castor oil a hero under extreme stress also turn it into a liability for daily drivers. Synthetics dominate where it counts for most: long drain intervals, low emissions, and compatibility with modern engine materials and after-treatment systems. Their engineered stability and predictable performance fit perfectly into a world built on convenience, warranties, and standardized maintenance cycles. The phase-out of castor oil was not a simple story of progress, but a shift toward what could be patented, branded, and sold at scale. In the end, the choice between ancient and modern is not about nostalgia or marketing. It is about understanding the demands of the machine, the realities of ownership, and the trade-offs hidden behind every bottle on the shelf. A century of chemistry and corporate strategy has shaped the oils poured into engines today. The lesson is not about picking a single winner, but understanding which oil fits, which need, and the trade-offs that come with every choice. For most cars on the road, modern synthetic oils like Mobil 1 and Castrol Edge are designed for the realities of daily use: long intervals between changes, low emissions, stable performance in all weather, and full compatibility with catalytic converters and after-treatment systems. These oils are built to meet strict warranty requirements and handle the punishment of stop-and-go traffic, cold starts, and the occasional skipped maintenance. When reliability, minimal upkeep, and investment protection matter, synthetics are the practical answer, grounded in decades of engineering and field data, not just marketing. Yet, in the world of high-stress engines, short sprints, vintage machines, or racing at the edge, castor oil still claims a unique place. Its natural polarity, film strength, and ability to cling to metal are not just quirks of history. These qualities give it a measurable edge in boundary lubrication, where survival depends on a film that will not break down under extreme heat and pressure. In these specialized corners, castor oil delivers protection that even advanced synthetics struggle to match without complex additive blends. The real divide is not simply old versus new or natural versus synthetic. It is about convenience versus specialization, the economics of branded, patentable fluids versus the raw performance of a commodity that cannot be trademarked. The story of castor oil reminds us that progress does not always erase the past. Sometimes the best solution is one that has been there all along, waiting for the right moment. For daily drivers, stick with the oil that keeps warranties intact and emissions low. For sprint engines or vintage restoration, consider the ancient oil built for heat and speed. The best oil is the one that fits your machine, your goals, and your willingness to look past the label. Across all examples, one truth stands out. The battle isn't ancient versus modern, it is engineered convenience against raw, natural performance. Castor oil's molecular edge still outpaces synthetics in heat and stress, yet for most engines, modern synthetics remain the practical choice. The real conflict is about what we value: mass market reliability or uncompromised results in extreme conditions. Sometimes, real innovation means looking backward. Which side would you choose? Let us know below.